Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. You are now tuning in to episode 51 of the Off the Menu podcast. I am your friend, your host, Key, here with my brothers, my co-hosts, Moose.
Hello.
And Tay.
Hello, everyone.
And a special guest, a very special guest. I am happy to introduce to you Iggy with Amoure, Ferrer, brand owner, stylist, entrepreneur, go-getter, big stepper, going crazy.
That's love,
Bro. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank
bro.
you so much, dude.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir.
We were so hyped to have you.
Yeah, bro, you going absolutely dummy right now.
Y'all going absolutely dumb.
Hey,
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
you heard it here first, folks.
But as I said, thank you for being here for episode 51 Off the Menu podcast. We really appreciate that you made the time to come out here.
Yup. All day.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was like, I don't usually respond to the DMs, like, and then yours got like hidden away. Then Moose was like, hey, this is the homie. Like, let's try to get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. And then we put it in there and I was like, all right, let's get this going. And then I looked through all your stuff and I was like, man, this is what you're working on and what you're actually doing is kind of crazy.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's like, this is pretty, are you doing it all by yourself? Like when it comes to your brand?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part, like I have a team that helps me, like
Yeah.
creative direct and like
Yeah.
Oh,
get
cool.
on that side of things. But like shipping, it's kind of like on me.
Yeah.
Trading is kind of like on me as well.
Oh,
but
damn.
So there's a
All
lot
the
of
hard
independence in what you do, and then there's a lot of stuff behind the team that they can help with.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I created codependency as well
Yeah.
with certain people, so
Dang.
it's a lot easier now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, as always, before I forget, we got IT technical support in the back. Seafood, you ain't going crazy.
Really? Honestly, getting better every time.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to turn it down a little bit before it goes, before it's too loud.
Before it was blowing out our eardrums.
Christ.
But for the viewers out here, Iggy, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Iggy. I'm a fashion designer from
Yeah.
Salt Lake City.
Going
21
crazy.
years old.
Going crazy.
For the most part, I
You
just
say 20 years old?
21.
21.
That's
still,
even just as
bro.
crazy.
That's still crazy.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. I feel like I've been seeing the brand go on for a minute. How long? When did you start, Amoure?
When I was 18, like
18?
17, 18,
17, 18. Yeah,
I was a senior in high school. It's always been like a dream since I was like a junior, sophomore.
of course.
But like I got the opportunity like senior year to like scrape up a few coins and kind of like distribute and get my ideas out. So I did that for the most part.
Yeah,
And I just been doing it since for the most part. So yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Damn, 17, 18. I don't even remember what I was doing at 17, 18. That's crazy though. Like when I always hear that everyone
Yeah.
comes onto the podcast and hear how youthful they are and young,
Yeah,
I'm just like, man, I always rethink about what I was doing. Like I'm 10 years older than you.
right.
And to me, I think that's just astonishing that you've been able to make those kind of moves at such a young age.
For real.
And like to build your pathway of what you've been doing. Because like I said, I looked at your Instagram. You meet celebrities, you deal with celebrities, and you also
Amazing
do a lot of stuff on your own with your team, which is like, I didn't even thought about having a team until I was like, what, 24 when we first
Yeah, we're
started?
like 23, 24 at the time.
so
Sorry.
it started at you started the brand at 18, but you said you've been wanting to do. What made you want to get into like having your own brand and stuff?
I didn't really grow up with the chance to like buy too much designer items or like
real.
go to like high end market stores or
Mm-hmm.
any type of store that was over a certain price ticket. I didn't have the opportunity to really like splurge. So
Right.
I'm like, what's the best thing that I could do? Just make clothes that I think are cool,
Right.
not at an inexpensive price, and just have fun doing it. So I just thought of it like if I couldn't buy design, I wanted to become one.
Right. I like that.
Which is so crazy.
yeah.
I mean, when I was 17, that's when I just barely started even looking into this stuff too. What were some of your like early idols that you had?
I like Steve Jobs a lot.
Oh, for real? Damn. That
was hard.
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah,
Going crazy.
I think Steve Jobs is super cool.
Why is that though?
he has a product that's in everybody in the world's pocket.
That's true.
It's in mine right now.
It actually makes sense. That'd be like to look at an influencer and see what kind of influence they have. When you look at it, Apple pretty much takes over majority of the world, right? So you don't think fashion, but you think product. And when you think fashion, then you want to try to make a product that everyone can have or wants to have, right?
Because even with these high ticket ass prices with, you know, these Apple products, I feel like probably every household has at least one.
At least
two
one, bro.
Apple products of some kind, right? Whether it be a phone, iPad, iPod back in the day type shit. So
Some people
I like
have
that.
all of them.
Yeah, some people got all of them, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's crazy. I would have never guessed that would have been your
No,
answer.
that's so crazy.
That's hard though. So when it comes to the clothing, I feel like you kind of hit it right on the head. I feel like the brand and the way that it looks is like really like super like high fashion in a sense. Like the way that logo looks, it's just like kind of goes up there with like that
Yeah, it's
luxury
iconic.
type. Is that what you were trying to go for?
Yes.
Yeah.
Going
I mean,
for
you hit that
luxury,
shit
yeah.
because that shit goes hard.
I wanted to create a hat that I made this 3 years ago, but I wanted it
Yeah.
to like resonate to maybe if I made it this year, you wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So just something that's just timeless.
Right.
I
Yeah.
wanted
Like
it
on
to
some
be-
like Von Dutch type shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. I can see that. That goes crazy.
And then, are you from Utah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yes.
Damn.
Born and raised. Actually here.
Damn.
What part?
I grew up in like Holiday area, but
Oh no way. Okay.
then I moved to West Valley, and then I've just been in West Valley ever since.
Where's Holiday?
Down
It's on
south,
the
past
east
like
side,
Riverton
right?
and stuff.
No.
No? Oh,
Is it
further?
like
East.
Ogden?
East side.
Oh,
like east
okay,
side of the
east.
mountain. Yeah.
East side of the
Or-
mountain.
This way, east side of the mountain.
I don't know my shit, bro. What is that? By Layton? By like Layton?
No, that's
Ogden?
north.
Or like
It's like
where's this?
shoot.
Conway.
I'm
Heights, there
tripping.
you
No,
go.
you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
man.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That's where I'm at now.
Okay.
Yeah, because
That's
I grew
fine.
up on the west side. So like, grew up in Kearns, but then most of my life in West Jordan, and then it's like right next to freaking West Valley too. So that blows my mind too, because I feel like every time that I met you, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy, he moved here from like the east side or something, because you just have like a completely different swag that nobody else has around the city. What made you like? What brought that out? Was that just like it's organic? I woke up this way, or is there somebody that you like looked up to back in the day? Because I am always so surprised when I hear that.
Good question. I think it was more so me not having as much clothes. So I just had to figure out ways to just accessorize and make it stretch.
Put that shit on. Right?
You know what I mean? So it just came from me not having like an amassed amount of clothing. So I just figured like the best thing I could do personally is just try to accessorize and create versatility within my outfits with what I had at the moment in time. So I feel like it kind of just came from that, kind of like living on a minimalistic, fashionable type of aesthetic, but still not having all of the resources. So it kind of translated into like now to where I'm able to get a little bit more of what I do want.
Right.
I'm still able to like create the versatility within it. It was kind of just being the kid, like wearing 2 different color Vans to school. I was that kid. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Always was like that, just trying to wearing scarves on my head to school.
Oh
Teachers
damn.
always getting mad. Take
Even
it
in
off.
high school?
Take it off. Yes.
Yeah, bro. They would always be trying to. Anytime you wear anything on your head, especially if you grew up in Utah, never any hats. You can never wear a hat.
Right.
No nothing on your head. Even freaking like you said, a scarf. They'll just freaking tell you to take that shit
I
off.
remember when I would like spike my hair up and put like the Nike headbands on and shit. I would always have
Yeah.
to take my shit off at school. I'm like, fuck,
I
bro.
wasn't going for it.
Yeah, they weren't
Wasn't
fucking
going
with that.
for it. I tried to wear like hats and stuff. Nope, it got to be the school logo.
Gotta be the school logo.
School logo.
I'm not wearing no school logo hat. No,
What
sir.
school did you go to, bro?
I graduated from Granger. I went to Hunter High School for 10 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Hunter High School for 10 days and I transferred to Granger.
That was a smart choice.
That was a smart choice.
I got a lot of cousins that went to Hunter. I'm sorry.
You know, I don't know if it was my choice. I think about it. I'm like, what would life be like if I graduated from Hunter High School?
You said you went there for 10 days and then what, you bounced and moved or something, or you just transferred?
Yeah, I transferred to Granger because I was trying to make the Granger basketball team.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I did, and I tore my ACL.
RC.
Hell.
Damn.
Crazy.
In
That's
high
crazy.
school?
In high school.
That's fucked.
That is fucked up. Damn. Like you said though, I think it's probably better off for you to be at Granger, to be honest.
You know, I don't know.
If you know, you know. Okay, guys.
I wasn't really that good at basketball either way, so I guess it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out then. All right, bro. Let me get into this shit real quick, man. Let me pull up some of your guys' questions real quick. So, I said it in the intro. You just got off from your job. You said you're a stylist. What were you doing before this? If you can give us a little bit of details. If you don't have to say the name of who exactly, but what were you doing? Like, what is a day-to-day as a stylist? Like, what are you doing to style people? Are you, like, shopping for them? Or are you just telling them, like, no, you want to wear this, you want to wear this?
Everything. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you building out new wardrobes,
Okay.
like suiting, creating new outfits. You know, it's just a whole lot that goes into styling per se.
Mhm.
Like its own world within itself.
So I always wanted to know this. As a stylist, are you buying the clothes yourself and then charging them on like an invoice for this shit? Or are you using their money to style for them? You're just using their money to buy clothes for them?
Depends the relationship you have,
Okay.
what type of stylist you are.
Okay. So this one that you just got off of, what were you doing?
I would say personal shopping for the most part. Like somebody come in, you get a catalog of what they might want.
Okay.
Create some type of wardrobe of what they might want for a specific occasion, and then kind of send it out with them. But
Can you touch on
with like my like actual styling in my personal world? It really stems from, I would say, creating a relationship of even like I've had people send me like X amount, and then I go create a look for them.
like here's
Wow.
here's $1,000 like
Here's a retainer. And then
Yeah.
this is the look I'm going for, and vice versa.
And you get free range. Like, you get complete creative control on some ideas, of course, with their input.
with their input,
With their
but
input,
you're
right.
going like it's more so like for specific events. So you're going towards like a tailored theme for the most part. Like somebody might have like a gala you have to go to, so it's not like I can just throw anybody on somebody who's going to a gala. Like you have to make sure like everything makes sense aesthetically, even within like if they're going with their partner, like it's everything has to like coordinate and coherently go together. So for the most part,
crazy.
yeah,
Stylist is dope, man.
That's awesome.
That's
Honestly,
nasty.
it was a dream job for me just because I always want to style movies, but I was like shopping for a specific individual, not just like a character in a set. Like, it's,
I mean, for like a specific occasion, like what you're saying, right? That's pretty crazy, bro. So, like, what was the occasion that you were shopping for or styling for just previously,
Like,
before you got here?
all types of people. Like you got people that go to the White House. You got people that
oh shit.
God damn.
huntsmen's, like all types of people.
And you get excited when you see that picture of them at that event and they see that, or you see that outfit that you put them in.
Sometimes I don't even see them.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Damn, that's crazy.
How'd you get into that anyway?
Luck.
Luck?
I don't really believe in luck, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
by
yeah.
chance and by faith, bro. Like I always wanted to be a stylist. It's like figuring out doors and ways to get into being a stylist and like opening a door, keeping your foot in there, and like staying in. So I was like my real vision, just having the opportunity to even be a stylist, like
Yeah.
see different people, how their style is from all over the world. And you have
Right.
the opportunity to like talk to people and see where their headspace is with fashion. Like it's cool.
What's like the biggest budget you were given like
This guy
to
with
style
the
something?
numbers
I just
too.
want to know like what's like that big ass number? They're like, okay, like here's 10 racks.
I
Like,
don't
go
think
crazy.
I can say it.
It's like I knew that was coming.
All
Bro.
right.
For the most part, when you're styling
numbers
people,
dude.
have you
I fuck
ever
with
had
that
to like
shit.
sign NDAs so you don't have to speak on who they're working with and stuff like that? Yeah, so okay.
yeah, for sure.
And that includes their numbers and stuff because that's probably all personal stuff.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm a numbers guy, you know.
Yeah.
I know.
I like to figure that
Just
shit
go
out.
go look for the fit yourself and you put that number together. That's what those guys do on the internet. Those guys are crazy. Like they see celebrities and they go post like the catalog of this fake catalog they make and they put what they're wearing and they put the total price point of what they
I've
put
seen
together.
those.
Yeah.
But it's not always like that.
Yeah.
It's not always like that. Like sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you're just giving them advice. You might just drag things on like Photoshop. Like, yo, like send it to whatever they might be at. They might not even be in the same city as you. So you might just create a whole look for them, and they go by their whole crew.
I didn't even think
that's
about
tight
that. What the
too.
fuck? That's nasty.
I do that a lot as well.
So more like the consulting instead of just going out and grabbing the goods for the peeps.
It's easier.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
Creating a look and they
crazy.
just go buy it themselves.
We should do that just for fun.
I mean, look at what you got on right now, bro. I could see why people are like gravitating towards you for like and hiring you as like either a consultant or stylist. Because I mean, like you got that shit on, bro. Like you going crazy, the cardigan and shit. You got the Amoure hat on. Where did you get the idea that just because one of the first things I seen was that hat. I think I saw that like All Star or something.
Right.
Where did you get the idea to come up with this logo and specifically truckers and shit like that? Was it always like when you first thought of the idea? Was it always supposed to be going on truckers? Was it supposed to be going on something else?
I made it in a parking lot at Zaxby's.
Get
On my
out of
phone.
here. Are you serious?
Facts.
What was that process like? Is
Crazy.
the parking lot?
In a parking lot.
You gotta
at
talk
Zaxby's.
about
With
that more,
with my
man.
best friend at the time. Crazy.
So
I'm so serious. We didn't even eat at Zaxby's.
yeah.
We was just there kicking it.
Dude, that's the hardest flex I've ever heard on this show. That's tight.
Well, I mean, have you? I'm trying to think. Did I see this logo on some other shit too, or do you only do it on hats?
I only do it on.
I was gonna say I don't think I've seen this logo on like a hoodie or a T-shirt or anything. Is that right?
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay, so I mean, since that's like your piece for like the hats, like what kind of direction are you using for like the clothing shit? Like when you're releasing like hoodies, because do you release more like art shit or would you say they're more like pieces? Like
I would say it's like you know how people make music. I feel like it's my music, so I treat every shirt like a song. Like every piece is like a song to me. So like I would say it's like artistry. So it's like art to me in my world. I think it's just art. So I don't know if I really consider it like clothes. It is clothes,
Of course,
but, like
of
I
course.
consider it more like basils of art. So
like art pieces and shit.
That's the
Yeah.
vibe that I get every time that I look
Right.
at your shit, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to know like just the history with your brand too. Where did the inspiration for the name come? When did you feel like that the moment when it all clicked when you really wanted to start doing it in high school?
I think the moment it really clicked is when I was really trying to figure out like college, trying to figure out if I wanted to start a brand or a business at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like really going back and forth and really trying to consider like, what is it really going to be? Am I going to take the foot in with college? Like I dropped out of college twice.
Yeah, me too. Once.
You know? But at the end of the day, I just try to like figure out, okay, like let's go to school and figure out from there. It didn't work because I went COVID year and I'm not really the best learner
Yeah.
through my like MacBook. So it didn't really work out the best for me because I like to ask my teachers 100 questions.
Yeah.
And you can't really do that because I don't want to be the annoying kid on Zoom. Like I have this question, I have this question, this question, this question. I like to really understand concepts and I don't like the interface with me and the computer and the teacher on the other end.
You
just
miss
doesn't
like
work.
the human interaction with the point of when you go to a classroom too. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so it didn't really go too well for me. So I was like, okay, let's just try going full forth and like front face into a brand and see what that does. And here we are.
What I'm curious too. What was your focus in school? What was your like? Did you have a major, or were you just working on minors there?
It was just generals.
Just generals, yeah, or minors? Is it generals? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just generals. I wanted to go to school for architecture.
Oh shit!
okay.
Damn, that's nasty.
I bet that shit's hard as fuck though.
I considered it too, but I'm bad at math,
Yeah.
so it ain't working out for me. I can draw the boxes, but the measurements are not going to match up.
Yeah, bro.
One day I'm gonna go back to school for that.
Yeah, for real.
Architecture is crazy though, because like I mean, you use like people. That's how they build buildings and shit. You know, that's how they fucking do everything. So that would be something crazy to like go back to, as far as architecture goes. Because there's architecture in like everything.
It's
Like,
it's an art too, because
It's
I went
an
to
art.
when I went to Copenhagen. They're like they have, I don't know if I call it the capital of architecture, but they have really good architectural schools, right? So you go to college there, they have great schools. Like when I was there, you saw amazing architecture, amazing graphic design. It's just probably like the most what is even the word? This like enriched area of like like modern culture. Like you just see it everywhere you go. It doesn't matter if I'm walking down the street, if I see like a sign, like everything is very, very, very detailed. So dude, that's like if you want to be an architect, go over there. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Right.
And I only got to spend a day and a half there. I'm not gonna act like I spent like a week. But if I'm gonna go to a European vacation again, I definitely I got to put that on my list at least one time.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Definitely put that into consideration.
Dude, you got to go. And especially if you like walking, because in the US, it's hard because we don't have a lot of walkable cities unless you live in like a big city. But in Europe, everywhere you go, like you're usually riding a bike, public transportation, or you're walking unless it's like a taxi to get somewhere. But it's amazing, man. I wish I had that because they would have freeways just for bikes.
What?
Well, yeah, dude, it'd be like
It's crazy.
It's like an elevated sidewalk, and then you can walk on the sides, but people are riding their bikes to work. Everybody's on their bikes. Everybody's on their feet. It's amazing.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I like walking too. I walk a lot.
yeah. I mean, you travel for work too, right? I mean, like, what is some of the coolest places that like work's been able to take you?
I don't travel too often for it.
No.
No, if I travel, it's more like just leisure.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
What are some the best cities that you've been to?
Chicago.
Oh my god, dude!
Going crazy.
I love Chicago.
We love Chicago.
I love Chicago. I grew up, or I have family there, so
Right.
I'd get to go most summers since like the age of 12.
Really?
So yeah, I got to spend a lot of time down in the city there because they lived in Chicago, but they moved out to the suburbs, Elgin, Arlington Heights, but they're only like a 20, 40-minute train ride, depending on where you're at. So I would get to spend a lot of time there, dude. It's so fun.
Downtown's nice.
Downtown's nice. You got the beach there.
Right.
You got, what's that one road with all the Michigan Avenue with all the
Michigan
shops?
Avenue.
It's amazing, dude. All the brands you can think of, all in the same shop. You just walk all day,
It's
go
like the
shopping.
Rodeo.
Exactly,
Chicago.
Rodeo,
It's
Chicago.
like high end shit and
Yeah.
like no streetwear stuff though.
Streetwear stuff too. They got everything, man.
Undefeated and shit.
I'm sure they have Undefeated somewhere. They got like the 5-story Uniqlo. They got a New Era store.
Oh wow.
And New Era store, I know it's like, I'm gassing it up a little bit, but they have every hat, bro. And I'm not a sports fan. So I feel like a poser whenever I wear anything that's like a sports logo. But they had like Spider-Man shit. They got a music note on a hat. They got beautiful shit. I'm just
Crazy. I
gassing
didn't know
up
they had a
New Era
Uniqlo in Chicago. I thought they only had a big ass store in like
They
Japan.
got everything in every luxury brand you can
Uniqlo's
think
are everywhere.
of.
You got in California. They got in
They got it in
Seattle.
Cali?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got in
bro.
LA.
What are you doing?
Beverly Hills Mall. The center, Beverly Hills Center.
Tripping.
Dude, everywhere. South Coast Plaza, if you're in the OC.
Yeah. They're everywhere. You just have to literally look for
I
it.
feel like I this whole time I thought Uniqlo was just a Japan thing.
It was
yeah.
up until about 5 or 6 years ago, and then it started spreading like wildfire, and now every other city has a Uniqlo.
What the fuck?
Super trendy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
Super
Yeah.
trendy.
And the
Great
material is
essentials.
great. Like right now, they're working on like their super heat tech lines, and it makes sense out there because it's cold, and like you walk around, you want to be warm. And I was trying to figure out because all these girls are wearing skirts, and I was like, why are they just wearing skirts? But they have like the skin color material that's just leggings, and they're walking around like that. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then
Bro.
his wife got heat tech. Everyone got heat tech now.
Bro, I buy a lot of the kids' clothes on Uniqlo.
For real?
That shit,
Yeah.
they're cheap.
Dude, next time I go to California, let me know.
Yeah, that shit
got
is
it for you.
cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
Like $6 shirts and shit.
Dude, just wait. They're gonna have one
Yeah.
in Utah next 5 years, next 10 years.
Yeah.
They'll plan for
You
that
know,
shit.
Utah always behind.
They're always
Yeah,
behind, but
Always behind.
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Since we're on that topic, you as a stylist, how did you stay ahead being someone born and raised in Utah when it comes to fashion?
That's a good question.
I personally just keeping super up to date with what all of my friends are doing. Like what are the other
Mm-hmm.
people in other states are doing. Like my friends, I'll be on FaceTime calls with some of my friends in like London. I'm like, what's the culture like over there? Here's what
Yeah.
they're wearing. A lot of people
London,
are like ACG.
London folks go crazy with the fits.
Oh, yeah.
They go super crazy with the fits for sure.
Yeah, man. I wish I got to do more shopping when I was out there, but sadly no. And I actually was curious about why do you love Chicago? We didn't even get to answer that question.
Bro, it's like I went for my birthday. So I went with my parents at the time. I was like 17.
Mm.
And it was just like so magical because it just felt like a whole different world. Like it's not in LA, it's not in New York, it's not in
Yeah.
Miami. It's just its own vibe. And it's like you can't really describe it. So much going on, and it has everything. It got a beach. It got, you know what I mean? It has
Yeah.
countryside.
There's a beach in Chicago.
For real, dude. They do have a beach.
Fuck, bro, I need to get up on my geography, bro. I'm
Dude,
tripping.
We should take a business trip out there, bro.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
so
big tripping.
it's fun. It's like you said, they have everything.
It got everything.
Like food. You got
Has like the
shopping.
fast pacedness of New York.
It's clean too.
Very clean.
I haven't been to New York, but my brother went and he's like, yeah, it's just a cleaner, bigger city. Not like New York, it can get a little messy some places, but Chicago's pretty consistent on how clean it is. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
And they have beautiful buildings. Like
Beautiful
the Apple
buildings.
store is fire.
yeah, the one on Michigan Ave, or yeah. That was
one's
crazy.
Fire. Like the whole glass layout of it. It's
Yeah.
insane.
If you guys are in Chicago, there is, oh my gosh. I literally had the burger spot in my head, and then right when I thought about it, it went away. Tay, leave it to editing. We're gonna put it right here. Oh my God. But let me describe it to you at least. But then the burger spot is like, it's French inspired. So they cook everything the French way. So they're using foie gras. They're using like duck fat. They're using everything to cook burgers. And it's the most amazing thing.
Going crazy.
And then a single is actually a double. And then a double is actually a triple. So you get 3 patties on the double.
Going
I am
crazy.
so mad I can't remember the freaking name on that damn restaurant right now. I'm furious at myself.
I'm trying to see if I can
Once
look
you
it up right
figure
now.
it out, you gotta let me know.
Dude,
too.
bro, I'm gonna send that to you. Oh my
It'd be
God.
fire.
You made me want to go because I went 2 years ago, but I was on during a road trip and we had to stop one day because my friends have not been there before. And we only got to spend like a night and then the afternoon, and then we had to head out the next day.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And like you see people just with their sailboats,
Yeah.
yachts. While you're
They got-
shopping. It's crazy.
All the yachts, riverboats out there. And then I was riding a bike downtown, and we're, suburban kids for the most part, right? So when I was riding down there, and then we're in the park, everybody's just sitting there. They're like sitting looking at the beach, and then I look over to my right, and there's like the buildings and the skyline right there. I was like, I can't believe people fucking live here, man. That makes me so envious. Not to say that the mountains here in Utah are breathtaking. Like, I don't think I can go anywhere else in the world and like have that homey feel like how the mountains make me feel. But going to these big cities, I'm like, we're kind of missing out just a teeny bit. Just a teeny
I
bit.
think we're missing out a lot of bit.
I'm trying to soften the blow.
Definitely a lot of bit.
It's true. We are missing out a lot.
A
And
lot of it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
like
So
it,
behind. We're
it
light
takes
years
Utah
Yeah,
10
bro.
years to move anywhere else is moving right now. As far as like
Takes a while.
being in present time, like you go to LA, you go to Chicago, New York, they're already light years ahead of us. And for the fact that we're all in the United States is kind of crazy. But, I think Utah's an up and up right now. As long as the one thing Utah needs right now is the community to help build it up. Because if you don't have the community, you have nothing behind you, right?
Right.
And so that's why Utah doesn't make those ventures or moves. It's like, that's why we don't have a unique low. But we should, right? It's
Right.
cold. It's a cold city. You guys would sell so much heat tech or more fashion forward type clothing, right?
man,
And so like we have to build a community to want that kind of stuff instead of wanting what the hype stuff is, right? And that's what Utah is like. You got every kid wearing a Travis Scott stuff. We're listening to Travis Scott. And no downplay to Travis Scott. He's an amazing artist and all what he does. But it's like that's where everything goes to. All the energy goes to is big artists like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're like super late on trends, but we like to be like super trendy. And this is like in every industry when
Yeah.
it comes to clothing, when it comes to music, even when it comes to like the industry that I'm in. Like there's shit that we get here that was like that's already passed in like Texas
Yeah.
and California and shit, which is like it's crazy. Like we could be trendsetters in a sense because we have cool shit here,
Mhm.
but we don't even want to take that step and take that risk to get to that point. We're just like not ready to do it. We
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to we just want to keep
Evolve.
we just want to
Yeah.
keep following and keep going. Like you see dunks everywhere.
Oh.
You see the panda
Oh.
dunks everywhere. You know, panda
Don't get me
dunks were
started on the
panda
bro.
dunks were in Cali and New York like a year or two ago.
But that's what they were created for.
Right. To
Mm.
go
You know what I mean?
to be big.
They were supposed to be basic. It's like seeing Air Force Ones. That's the reason why they're created.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people get so upset. Why are they so popular?
Right.
Because they're supposed to be.
It was
So-
intended to do that.
You know what I mean?
Little backstory. I used to work at just a Nike outlet factory, right?
Right.
So I used to work there during the surgence of the Air Force hype. And the only reason why I get mad at people for wearing it or constantly being asked, oh, do you guys have all white Air Force Ones? Is because 2 years before the hype started, I would say, oh, Air Force Ones are amazing. And everybody's like, no, they're like bricks on your feet. I got that all the time. And then what you have it in Utah, specifically, 2 years later, people are like, do you guys have Air Force Ones? And we would tally up how many times people would ask us. I was like,
Right.
this is wild. 2 years ago, people did not want anything to do with Air Force Ones. Now they're the hottest. Same thing with dunks too, because I grew up in the you had to have the puffy tongues on your dunks, like the
The
real
SB,
SB
The
dunks.
SB
Mhm.
skateboarding ones, right?
And then everybody's like, no, you can't wear them if they don't have that. You can't wear the sportswear ones. What do you have it 4 years later, after the Air Force One hype? Dunks are the most popping thing. And what do I see? All the sportswear ones. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the purist in me too, because when you go through it, and especially being on the retail side, when you're on the receiving end of seeing how the influx happens, it gets real old so fast. And I think I was a little jaded.
It's
to
crazy
it.
that the outlets didn't have it because I feel like I remember back in the day when I was a kid, you could get like remember when the only Nike outlet was in Park City?
Yeah.
Like I remember getting Air Forces in the Nike outlet in Park City when we were
That's
like
crazy.
super young.
It's-
So it's crazy that you guys don't have it.
It's
at the-
different
or
now
Didn't
because
have it.
the demand is so high. And then plus, when something's on the up and up, you want it to be in the flagship stores, not the outlet stores. So what the outlet stores are getting are the second wave of things.
Right.
So
Shit that's
I mean,
not selling.
but that's also when you get the gold. You know, I've gotten like the Fear God Nike collab at an outlet store. I've gotten like Nike Lab at an outlet store. Like, you get the second wave of it, but they want those highly sought for items in their like Chicago Nike, their LA Nike. You know what I'm saying? So they want it in the Nike towns. So that's why when you do find them in the outlet stores, especially now that people resell, not just limited items, but people come in and buy shoes for bulk because they're getting a a lower price, and then they sell them aftermarket for the retail price.
Right.
So we live in this world where there's so many things that are popping off and people are benefiting off Nike. You're not gonna get the coolest shit unless you go straight to the source. So
Right.
it was interesting to kind of see that and kind of be in that, because it was also exciting because anybody growing up in Utah, we like to go scavenge for cool finds. That's why vintage
Right.
shopping is so popping here. It's because you want to go somewhere and then be like, oh, dude, I came up on this and I just randomly found it.
Right.
All the Nike shit that's in my closet still to this day, I only kept around if I was like, I found this on sale. I got it for like $15, and
Right.
you're not going to find that anywhere else. So it was cool to see that at least in the life cycle of Nike products.
So Nike's flagship stores are the Nike Town
Yeah.
stores.
Nike Town, Nike outlet stores, and then you get the clearance stores. And then the clearance stores, ooh, if you got one in your state, boy, I'm so jealous. People be getting shoes for like $20, $15, especially, if you have the Nike discount, I don't know who does, but like if you have that, even cherry on top too.
On top
yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
That 45.
Yeah, bro.
45% off. And shit.
I'm not saying any names, but you know who you are. You got that shit.
All right, bro, let me get back to this, man. So you talked about starting your brand in at the age of 18. You were still in high school. What are some of the things that you struggled with as you were like, getting up, starting the brand? Was this, whether it be like designing, manufacturing, screen printing? Like, what would you say is like one of the biggest challenges that you had to deal with while starting up the brand?
having a team
Yeah.
and not just allowing myself to do everything. And at the time, like just creating enough capital to even start a brand.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Besides money, what were the
Oh my
challenges? Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's everyone's
17,
initial
18, you're trying to figure it out. Like,
That's
of
the hurdle,
course.
man.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, especially starting at that young of it. Did you feel it was necessary at the beginning to have a team? Like you were like, "Fuck, I just need a team to help me out, roll it out." Did you
Yeah.
feel like that was necessary for you?
100%.
Yeah.
Mm.
And now that you have the team, how do you feel like the brand is being pushed forward? Do you feel like it's going in that direction that you like?
I think
Yeah.
I think I work with people that definitely take a lot off of my chest.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's just a lot of me relaxing now. and
Good.
kinda
Really? Oh, that's
Mhm.
good.
letting, not relaxing like literally, but I'm not running around the photo shoots anymore. Like I have
Mm.
such a creative directing photographer that really just insists his own creativity.
I seen that you
Shout out to Eddie.
Shout out to Eddie,
Beautiful.
man, going crazy.
Yeah.
I seen earlier. I mean, we talked about it earlier too, right before we started. How you were doing that console shit. You were starting to work with like actual manufacturers out of state, overseas, and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, because I think it's important to like let people be great.
right.
Like when people are great, you have great friends. Like you can't tell your friends how to be great. Sometimes you just gotta let them be great.
Of course,
Let them do what they usually do,
what they're
just
good
in the creative directing way of what their space is now allotted.
at. Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think it's super important to just kind of put them in your world and let them create there. Not
So-
necessarily you're telling them how to do anything. Like even
Of
with
course.
my manufacturers in state, like a lot of them I work with, but I had to show my personality and show how much I create so they can understand me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like, would you like this? Maybe if we did it this way, this way, this way. It's not just like it's building a business, not building a brand. A lot of people just, okay,
Mm.
I want it like this, just get it done. And these samples come out in the craziest way and then they get mad at their manufacturers. No,
That's
she just
true.
didn't understand you. She didn't get the connection that she needed
Mm.
to really accomplish the task of creating it in the way you want. So it's like,
Yeah.
even with my manufacturing now, it's more so me giving them the opportunity to like understand me more as a creative director so they can understand how I would like things, how I wouldn't, how they work as well. You know, what systems do I need to integrate within my world to make their life easier?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like it's all about relationships. It's not about just, all right, you do this
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna leave. Hopefully in 2 weeks you get it done. You send it to me and it's no. Like I text my manufacturer every single day.
Mm.
Right.
They text me. They don't even text me about like clothes anymore. Like, how you doing today?
So like what you're saying is just like
You know?
like communication and trust is something that
Yeah.
you really like push with your teammates.
Yes.
Even manufacturers too. That's awesome too. Because like we work in a team, and then I think that's something that we do really well. We know each other well enough. We talk through everything, especially now. Like I'm very proud how much we talk through everything, even the
Right.
feedback too. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's super important to give that trust to everybody on the team, like knowing that they can do that, and you're
Yes.
explicitly like giving them that trust. It's like do what you do your superpower, and that's
Right.
that's awesome.
But also, like you said too, like we even spoke about it too with this last episode with Hoodlum, is being detailed oriented, making sure that they kind of have a good idea of what you're looking for and what you're shooting for. And it sounds like you've been working with these manufacturers for X amount of time because you're building relationships with them. Now they know how you like things and how things are working out and things. So I think like being detail oriented, especially on the manufacturing side, is something that you really have to push for. And I
Sure,
like
you
what
got
you
to.
said when you're saying like you are giving them a chance to show you different methods and different ways to do it just based off of how competent they can do certain things, right? And you're actually taking these things into consideration because you're right. Because I'm even like that too with like off days and some of the things I did in the past. Like, no, I want it done like I want it done like this.
Yeah.
I need it done like this, and then it comes out. I'm just like, oh fuck, like,
It's not collaboration at
Yeah.
that point.
right? You know, it's just like me, like
Whenever it, like any of your art is in somebody else's hands, it doesn't matter if they're just adding one piece. It's just collaboration at that point. So
Right.
now it's like a different type of connection.
mhm.
It's not business. It's collaboration
Right.
when it comes to art. So it's like you have to have a relationship with anybody who's
Of
touching
course.
your art.
Definitely.
It's your art.
That is true because
You know what I mean?
throughout the process of having a clothing brand, you sometimes come through a drop and you're just like, man, that's not the colors I wanted, or it's not the placements I wanted. But as I learned to speak with the manufacturers and screen printers, all you need to do is just be there and be communicative, because as soon as I started showing up to the shop more often and choosing my own colors and doing all this stuff, they were like, oh yeah, I can do that.
Right.
These like everyone out there, all these manufacturers, screen printers, like I give it ups to them because they do what's sent to them. Right. That's if you didn't talk to them personally or like been in the shop, they will do whatever work was sent to them and at their best. Right. But if you go in there and you're like, they're looking at samples, you're looking at different colors, you're like, okay, so that color shade that we sent was off one color or that, and it becomes like more on the part as the creator. So we're creating stuff for them to use, but it may not look at the same when they're putting it into their system or how they're putting it together. So big ups to them, because I've been working personally with our screen printers right now and our embroiderer, and they're amazing, because this is the first time I've ever worked with people and like they want me behind the computer and like, hey, this is the color we have. You sure this is the color you want? And I'm like, oh shoot, so that's not the color we were looking for. And then they're like, okay, bring out their Pantone book and they're like, here's the colors that we can make for you. What is the closest to this? And then I'm like, this is crazy. They even, at that point, we even bought a Pantone book to match theirs, so we can make sure we go in and we have their exact color.
Right.
But it's nice when you work with people like that, though. When they are considering these different things and that could make
they know
it
way
work.
better than you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about like creating stuff and building this relationship, that's literally what I'm going through right now. And it's that's the one thing you need to understand being a creator in the process, is that you cannot do some things yourself. No matter how good you are at it, someone else is going to be better at the job that you want them to do.
Right.
As long as they know what you want them to do.
And especially with this work too, every industry I feel like has their own language. And over the years, we've learned how to speak the language. Like, oh, we want this Pantone or this thread count or something like that, right? Like those are things we've had to pick up over the years. And especially now that we've been in this for many years, especially even with my day job too. It's just like, if you're not speaking the language, they're not going to understand. But we are very fortunate, though. We've been able to have people kind of teach us this and like ways to speak to it, because now we're 100 times better than we used to be when we first started out. Crazy amounts.
And it's dope to work with like manufacturers, screen printers, embroiderers that actually do the fashion streetwear stuff that we're in, and not doing like Chick-fil-A's and like the normal like restaurant just screen printings and stuff like that, because those are like two different
worlds.
two different worlds, two different ways. Some people that just need one screen print of their logo for their whole company is different than some dude trying to start up a clothing brand and like being super detail oriented. And we learned that over the years working with a bunch of different people. They're like, oh fuck,
starting off with like 24 units, like something crazy like that.
Some people are like, oh shoot, our minimum's 120. What the fuck?
Like,
oh, like what do you mean 120 pieces? Like, for sure. We'll hit you back up. We'll let you know.
It's like
120.
You get the quote back, and you're like, oh, maybe we'll come back to a little later. And I'm just curious too with starting your brand. Do you have any like funny stories like in the beginning? Like, were you going through like your mom and pop screen print store, or like how was that process like in the beginning for you? And what is it like now?
It was me making it. So I'm buying blanks and I'm making it myself, or like I'm outsourcing it.
You doing like heat press and stuff?
Yeah,
at first heat
press, embroidery.
You were doing embroidery by shit? You got like a machine and shit, or just like a sewing machine?
I have a sewing machine.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Sewing's fun.
I have like all the machines, not in my own personal like space, but I have like the resources to use them.
Yeah, I think sewing was probably like one of the funnest things that I learned while making and doing clothes. Like
when you got it, you were going.
Bro, we were going hard. I think I was putting in like 8-hour shifts, fucking just putting in fucking the hem tags and like the back tags and shit. That shit was fun.
It's the funnest process.
Yeah, I thought it was dope. Like Jennifer was, so I had Jennifer's sister helping me. Sheila, shout out Sheila, by the way. And I know it was tough, but for me, dude, I was having fun. Like she was helping me, I can tell she was like getting like a little tired from it. But me, bro, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna just keep going, man. I was downstairs doing it here, and I was like,
I know, I
just
came
keep
to help
going.
you cut the tags.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, this shit's so funny. I just barely learned it. I literally was watching shit on YouTube.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck, I just want to finish it all.
I remember that day.
Yeah, dude, it was fun, man. I fucked with that.
That's a crazy day. It sounds like.
Yeah.
I started at
a lot
like
of those.
7 p.m. I didn't end till like 2 a.m. I didn't leave here till like 3.
And then you spent the rest of the weekend doing that.
Yeah. I did that for like 3 days straight.
It's
'Cause
crazy.
I had all the hoodies, all the shirts, all the long sleeves. But man, I wouldn't. At first, I was actually gonna have the company do it, bro. But they were charging me like $3-4 for each one, and I had like over 100. So I was like, bro, fuck this. I'm gonna just go buy a fucking sewing machine and just learn how to do it. And it took me a couple tries, but bro, best thing I ever did. That shit was so fucking fun.
That's good.
So fun, bro.
Because then you learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah. I actually learned how to do it myself. And like, I mean, while we're on that, after that, I was like, man, I'm just gonna like try out different methods. So I also got like the heat press.
Right.
They actually got me a heat press for Christmas and shit.
Bro,
I started trying different techniques.
Every week he would ask me, he's like, hey, you should come over to my place. I'll show you the office. Every week you had a new thing.
Do something there.
He's like, I got a new computer. Oh, I got a heat press. Oh, dude, check out these vinyls I got. I'm like, what? Every week was something new.
We had to try it, man.
It was sick. It was sick.
We had to keep it going because, like, I mean, I feel like I didn't find the right manufacturer that I was like, because I know what you're talking about, like building the relationships and staying in communication with some of these guys. Like, I was absolutely trying to look for that shit. But some of these foods were charging just a little too much for me. And I'm just like, man, I could just fucking do it myself. And you know, finally we found somebody, and like we were in like super communication. But I'm happy we found that one dude after the fact that I learned everything. So now I knew what to go in and say and how to talk to these foods, right, and get like the best everything, how to get everything done, the whole process. Screen printing, what it came from screen printing, embroidery to like puff print, all of these different things. I learned that just by watching and trying out all these different methods myself and shit. So, man, I wouldn't change that shit for the world. I was going in, bro. I was in the lab just cooking.
That was a good time, though.
Those are like the best times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the times you remember the most.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. And then with your brand, too, we talked about a lot of the past, a lot of what you're doing now. But what are some of your aspirations for the brand for Amoure?
My biggest aspiration is to really distribute the concept and the ideas as art rather than it just being closed. So just being able to connect with everybody in a way of just showing love through clothes, because the brand means love is rare. So just thinking of new ideas and new philosophies and working with like just cool, great people to get the idea out whichever way, whichever how, you know what I mean? So that's my greatest aspiration, to like turn it into like a design hub of just so many different concepts, so many different ideas, just in like a bubble, and just all just being dispersed to the world in love.
That's a good way to put it, because I feel like I've seen you distribute the brand in many different ways. Like, I think you were on like a runway, right?
Yes.
You did like a runway show. I've seen you at different pop-ups. I've seen you pushing it online and on Instagram and shit. So I definitely would say that's something that you are doing right now, and they could keep on doing that shit, bro, because I feel like you definitely are distributing in different ways, because, you know, going from because I mean, we only are pushing like the pop-ups and stuff, but I mean, I would hope, you know, I hope that we get to that point too. Like, we will get to that point too. Like, I do want to do a runway show. You know, I want to get to that point where we could be walking down runways and pushing different events. And
I got ideas, bro.
Yeah,
I got ideas. I know. We're getting a freaking runway show.
Yeah.
Woo, buddy.
Yeah, the way you're showcasing stuff, like, I feel like you're definitely outside with the brand. Like, you're in a bunch of different places, in a bunch of different, you know, in a bunch of different, you got a bunch of different eyes seeing your stuff all the time, for sure.
I try.
Yeah.
My biggest goal is just to like illustrate and show it wherever I go, whether I'm in a different city or whether I'm in a different state. Like, when I was in Atlanta, that was actually a time I got the most love, really.
Really? That's awesome.
Like, people just coming face to face, just, hey, this is cool. Where'd you get your shirt from? Where'd you get your shirt from? Like, of course, in Utah, people might know I make it, so they're not gonna ask me what kids.
right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was super cool just being in a whole different experience. People didn't know I created this product.
And
I'm having
that shit's
random
hot.
people come in like, yo, where'd you get your shirt from? Like, is that a shop in Atlanta? Where like, it's crazy. I had so many people, and it was like, it was a good feeling because you might hear it in your own city, in your own state. It's cool. You know everybody there.
Right.
But it's like in a place, in an environment, you don't know anybody, and they're able to give you some type of feedback that's not just as a bias of them knowing you for X amount of years, or you might have had this type of relationship with them, so they feel like they owe you to just be loyal to you, just to say yes to you all the time.
Right.
That actually
cool to
reminds
actually
me
have that.
of how we met too, because you're wearing. You came into a place where I was working at the time, and then you were wearing your hoodie with the Marlboro logo on the back.
That
Black
shit's
on black.
And
Black
I
on
remember
black that day.
seeing that, and I remember seeing it on IG too, just from friends passing it around just on reposts. And then I remember I really liked it, so I saw you wearing it. I didn't know that it was you that owned the brand at the time, and I asked you about it, and you're like, "Oh, this is mine." And then I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." For one, I didn't know that the brand was local to Utah, and then two, I had no idea that was you because I don't think I even saw your face because that was when we were still wearing masks at the time too. So
Right.
it was completely different. So I was thrown back, and it was cool to see, especially like that kind of talent coming out of Utah. When people are noticing it, sometimes all you need to do is just like that little compliment. It's like, "Oh, where'd you get your shirt?" And then when they hear it's from somebody from Utah, the narrative is going to slowly start to change. And I think that's like important to see, especially when you're going out to places like Atlanta where they probably don't think 2 seconds or about us over here in Utah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Not at all. Like, what's Utah? Is there horses over there? You know what
Barely.
I mean? Crazy. They don't think Utah's a real place. They think it's like La La Land. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Which could be a good thing right now. Shoot, I love that movie. Do you ever think that Utah will ever be a place of renown for anything in fashion or street culture or even just art culture?
Yeah, because the idea is with Sundance.
Yeah. There
You
it
know what
is.
I
We just
mean?
barely had
We were
that.
just talking about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utah is, I believe, the #1 film festival.
100%.
Debates and it goes back and forth with. I don't know if it's Toronto.
It's
Yes,
like
Toronto's-
us in Canes
yeah.
too. Canes in Europe.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, those 3 film festivals are at the top, and it's crazy. Sundance is like a part of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the more independent film,
yeah, indie films.
yeah, the indie film circuit, but
they're fire
yeah,
though.
fire,
Just
yeah.
having Utah known for something is great. So I think
Mhm.
they do great in that aspect of art.
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go
my
ahead.
brother.
No, you good. You good.
I think Utah one day will get to that point of
I think so too, man.
maybe not
Yeah.
fashion, but there's so much more to art.
Mm.
So in the world of art, most definitely we have so many great artists everywhere in the world. So
Yeah.
one day somebody in Utah is gonna get the opportunity to,
Yeah.
this is Utah.
Just the domino effect after that.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day Utah will be like a city that really unites and just all climbs up together and understands the value within that.
Mm-hmm. That's so crazy. You're the 3rd guest in a row that's kind of mentioned that like building it together kind of mentality. Because we've the last 3 guests that we've had, they've all like kind of had that thought. It's like if we build it together, then that's how we'll get to
Yeah.
where we want to
Well,
be.
it's like you build together, they shall come, right? Like a Roman saying. No, that's a true
That's
saying.
a Roman
right?
saying?
Something like
I thought
that,
it was
right?
Field
What's
of Dreams.
No, that they copied it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But because of you saying Sundance, I actually got to experience my first Sundance this past weekend. That's actually where I got injured. I slipped on some ice and like ruined my knee. But
I'm sorry.
it's all good. But what you're saying though is true because it's like I've lived in Utah 17 years. I'm pretty sure you guys lived there your whole lives and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm surprised none of us have actually thought about going to Sundance as a creative, right? This is the mecca for filmmaking, indie filmmaking, but these are some films that make it to the top that, win big Emmy awards and stuff like that. I got to experience it. I got invited by Adobe. They showed the programming for stuff they're making right now. They showed me some beta stuff and I was like, oh man, it's kind of crazy for a podcaster, right? But just sitting there alone and hearing the conversations, like eavesdropping in a kind of a way, was kind of amazing because it's like from one filmmaker to another, I was hearing conversations like, what are you doing? Or like, what's some films that you're working on? And it's like that put something in my mind is like Utah has all this kind of stuff to like build a community. It's just we haven't thought about doing that kind of stuff or put anyone else in the position to build a community with you, right? We have people that we work with closely, and then we want to do stuff with them, but it's reaching out to people like you that I personally didn't know who you were until up to recently. And now hearing you conversate though, and I was like, wow, this is like crazy that you've been doing this for 3 years, and that we need to put stuff that you're doing, stuff that we're doing on the map in the Utah scene, so we can spread that word and build a community behind us. Because just like I said, just eavesdropping and like hearing people talk about how they flew from Atlanta, from New York, and just to be at Sundance so they can connect with people. They're not even here for the films. They're here to like, so what are you doing out here? And like they have name tags on it that says Sundance Film Festival, is like filmer or director or editor. And then it's like every single one of them was conversating with a different person. And being at the panels was probably amazing too. I got to sit down through a couple panels and listen to celebrity filmmakers, celebrities, actors, and all this stuff. And they're talking about how we can be, also they're going through as well. They're going through, minority filmmakers and actors, actresses alike are all going through the same stuff we're kind of going through here in Utah. They're just going through on a bigger scene where they can't get green-lighted in films. They can't get green-lighted into stuff. They're projects they're trying to make, except for through Netflix and Amazon. So they give big ups to them, because if it wasn't for them, their films wouldn't be heard or seen or, produced by anyone without the help of those guys. And so just being there just changed my whole perspective of how we need to build a community. It's just, you got to outreach. You got to learn how to talk to people, ask questions, and be okay of answering questions. Yeah. So I learned that just from being there for 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you. Right. I feel like it starts with like also building our own personal communities as well. Within like just our families, our friends. That community.
That's really important.
I think you hit it right on the head, bro. Like I think we all as people who live here in Utah that are creating, like we do need to see the value in working with each other and pushing Utah as a whole together. Like for sure.
Which can get there though. Like, that's the one thing I learned from sure is that we're not stuck behind because we're stuck behind. We're stuck behind because we choose to be stuck behind.
Right.
Like
and no one sees the true value of we touched on it a little bit on 2 episodes ago where he was like, man, everyone just wants to be the first to come out of Utah to say we were the first to do this. I was the first to do this out of Utah, on like some Soulja Boy type shit, I was the first.
I was about to say,
I was the first, but I think we would have a better, easier time getting towards that more towards that direction if we push together.
The path would be so much bigger if we had everyone on at the same time pushing each other, right?
Right.
Versus it being one lane and you only focusing on yourself.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people misunderstand when being a creative, right? Especially being like an artist in general. Like they work on a lot of stuff themselves and they do things by themselves. When I went to Sundance, it's like a whole film is not just one person. It's literally a correlation of like almost 1,000 people, whether it comes down to lighting, sound, imagery, editing, all that kind of stuff. And like, I literally, like, when I heard all of them talking about this kind of stuff and like they threw out percentages and numbers of how like many actors and actresses and filmmakers do this kind of stuff, it just goes so crazy to see, like, if you watch like a film like Oppenheimer, how much production work really went behind it, right? Why was that film cost so much, and just for a film that would last 3 hours? Then you start looking behind the scenes. It's not just the actors and actresses, it's the people that made the film. It's like film magic, right? Come together. And that's the same thing we should be looking at when we're making clothing or helping other people out in our communities. Like we kind of are doing that right now with the highlighting guest here on Off the Menu, right? And building the community with that. And man, like you guys, like we talk about all the time every week is that I've been able to build relationships with certain people that have been on here, and I'll text them every other day, how they're doing, when's their next drop and stuff like that. And just try to be more communicative because
of course
we preach that. So we have to start being about it, right?
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Bro. Yeah. Most def, bro.
I definitely agree with you. Really capitalizing off of that, because as much as we want to, everybody can't be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the quarterback. People don't understand. You got to be a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You got to be,
You got to be a left tackle. You got to be a right tackle. You got to be out center. You got to be everything there is to build a team, right?
You got to be the one writing the plays up on the sidelines. Like everybody has a role.
Yeah. There's 54. There's 54 players on the bench. And then including the starters, and then you have the coaching staff, the water boys, everything. It comes down to the littlest things like that. You don't realize that if that person or that player didn't get no Gatorade during that play timeout, they're going to be exhausted coming back into the game. So it's like stuff stuff like that, like analogies with sports and like movies and all this kind of stuff. We kind of just need to take direction of what they're doing because there's a reason they've been so successful over the years to using a team aspect of it all. Because like, you know, we had Hoodlum on here and we were amazed that he does everything alone. But the one thing he said is like, you know, I do get tired sometimes and I do wish I had a team. Right. And I was like, you know, shout out to Omar that you're able to plan years ahead of what you're doing. And it's crazy to me when he said that he plans a whole year in advance for clothing himself or designs or whatever. And then he releases the next year. As a solo person, I find it astonishing that you were able to do something like that. Right.
Yeah, true.
But then it's also, like I talked to you guys earlier, is that having the team aspect helps us a lot more because it takes the weight off us. Like how you said, it takes the weight off your chest when you're able to just relax a little and do things that you want to do. As a creative director, that should be the only job you should be focusing on is being the creative director and like focusing on how things are going to be put out and stuff like that. The fact that you have a photographer and you probably have other people under your belt or on the side of you. I wouldn't say under your belt because the team is people beside you that are going to help you push you to the finish line, right? And finish the marathon that we do call a career path in art.
Yes.
Exactly.
Most def, man.
Because they don't work for you, they work with you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. We work with each other. Right? We're supposed to be working with each other. We're not working under.
We work for her, but that's
You only
CEO.
work for
Seafood, you
Seafood.
know.
You only work for
She's the head of the monastery. Like,
she's the business behind it all. You know, it's like we need to do this, and we need to do that, and I think you sometimes do need that in a team is to have that one person that can delegate what you're doing and make sure everyone's getting put out. Because if it wasn't for her, we're just three dudes that are trying to get stuff out, and like, how are we getting it out? What are we doing? What is our next step? Right.
well, I've always called this Voltron.
Yeah.
And then Amy and freaking Sifu Ying is the head of Voltron.
Yeah,
So
going crazy, man.
I'm the green one.
Bro, I've been seeing some of the stuff you've been pushing on the IG and stuff, the stronghold stuff. Yes, sir. What does stronghold mean to you, bro? What is that? Tell us a little bit more about the stronghold stuff.
So Strongholds is like a passion project I've been working on for almost like 2 years. It's been a concept of really illustrating mental health through an assortment, like clothes, like short films, like illustrating new concepts, like just showcasing real life situations. You know what I mean? So I think it's been a journey really understanding how to illustrate that in a way where it's just beyond clothes. So
for sure.
So I've been working on that.
Just like when you speak about the concept of, especially when it comes to mental health, it's like expressing it through self-expression in these different mediums, whether it come from fashion or film.
Yeah. Like orchestrating
Yeah.
a way of all of us being able to connect about something that everybody has to deal with.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world deals with mental health. Everybody else, like everybody in the world thinks. If you think, it's like physical health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we're able to, like, per se, sprain our ankle, like we're able to go put ice on our ankle, but how do you put ice on your brain when you've been using it for X amount of time?
That's
you know
so
what I mean?
true.
So it's like, I feel like it's really orchestrating, like, how to heal the sprained ankle of our brain because we don't have the opportunity to learn how to. Like, we can go to physical therapy, but like people, like, is there mental therapy?
There definitely is. Yeah.
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 But it also is like a lot of
Are people taking it serious?
Yeah, see.
You know what I mean?
and
Empowering with the tools to do so.
Right.
and a lot of it is
Yeah.
like, especially as men, though, we deal with a lot of mental health ourselves because we feel too strong and too prideful to reach out to someone. So they're not going to therapy. They're not reaching out to that person that they could reach out to.
Because of pride.
Right. Yeah. And it sucks because, like, you know, I've been through it, and through my personal experience, I would say just reach out to that person or reach out to the therapist so no one else has to know. Like, and if you really think that these people are not going to help you, second guess it and go try it. Because if you go reach or you put out your voice in the world, and there's someone that's going to be out there that's going to help you, right? And that's kind of something I learned because dealing with the death of my grandfather from 2019 up, we had to go through COVID. I was trying to figure out my life. We were trying to get married. I just couldn't figure anything out.
Right.
I had too much on my plate, and the fact that like a year ago, when like I had I have a friend that reached out to me. I have plenty of friends that reached out to me, and I was that person to them. Right. They were on the verge of killing themselves, but I was that person to them. So I really thought about. I was like, maybe I should just reach out to people, or maybe I should be more expressive of what I'm going on with in the world, because a lot of it is just dealing with little things that just builds up. Because as men, that's what
100%.
happens, right?
100%.
Exactly.
Bro, shout outs
So,
to you
I
for,
agree,
for
bro.
putting shit out like that, for sure.
Because it does help. Because when you
It
start
really
to see
does
stuff
help.
like that, it just has a personal mindset change for that one life you can just change. It means so much
Yeah.
more to anything else that you can ever put out in life. And that's the one thing I'm learning right now, is that the one thing we say, the one thing we do, and the one thing we put out in the world, that can change anyone's life. We just don't ever see it. We don't ever see the outcome to it. And then you're just like, but we just got to keep doing it, right?
It happens
so-
to me all the time, because like sometimes if I have a hard time and I see something positive and it makes a positive effect, like that's all I need, you know, or that little wake up call where it's like, it's okay to feel this way, and people need to hear that message. So I think it's really like amazing work just to even shout out that that mindset of giving you the tools. This is how you can heal whatever you have going on, because we always have it. Sometimes it comes and goes. We'll always have it. Sometimes people just need that medicine like right away.
It's a journey that we all going on. It's not like one person went through it. Now they could go teach everybody, because they're gonna go through it again.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a journey. We're all going through it, but it's like,
Most definitely.
how do we all come together as a community and go through it together? You know what I mean?
Yeah, shout out to you though for making just a passion project, because a lot of people utilize mental health in a weird direction where they use it for money and like greed, and I've seen a lot of people do it. So for you to make it a passion project and like put your word out there and try to make it be known that there is mental health out there.
Right.
How do you go to heal it? Like that was a great analogy. Like you can't just throw ice on your brain and that's it. Right. There's so much more to it.
Yeah. No, though, I think it's dope, bro. You're using your resources and using your platform to really push awareness to things like this. And I think that's something that we all definitely need to do more, for sure.
And actually, even speaking from experience too, when we look at your IG feed, it's very positive. Like, even for like, you're always very thankful, or you're showing love to any like your friends. Like that, even in itself, is a very positive thing, because it's never materialistic. It's never like you're trying to get new followers or anything. It's really, you just show love naturally. So I think it just makes more sense. I just made the connection in my head just now. I was like, oh yeah, I get a hell of a feeling off of freaking Iggy's stories all the time when I watch it every day. So shit. Yeah,
bro. Shout out to you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, man. For sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, all day with it.
Still mind blowing. You're 21 years old.
We're about to come up on the last of it, bro. We do this segment on the show called the Chef Special. It's kind of just some free games, some advice, just to our viewers. Anything that you would like to give to them, as far as anything, words of encouragement. Anything that we talked about, you want to touch a little bit more on. Go ahead and give us your Chef Special, bro.
Chef special.
Chef Special, bro.
I think I'll leave on the note of like really just saying we all in it together. Like the whole city's doing exactly what they supposed to be doing. Everybody's like picking up their own weight. So I think it's just beautiful. Everybody in the city is doing what they're doing.
Of course.
From like somebody who's from the city, like just stay consistent. Let's just all get
Keep
together
doing it.
and just orchestrate more ideas for the city.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one,
Yeah,
because
man.
honestly, this is where it starts with. It starts with you, and then it starts with the people around you. And the city is at your hands if you want to take it, but it's also right beside you if you want to be with everyone else that comes up.
Yeah.
So there's like, it's so true. We like over the last few guests we've had, they've always come back to the part where, dude, if the city don't change, we're out. And but we have to make that change though. And it starts with who we are, right?
Right.
And we don't want to chase people out like that. We want people to come in from Atlanta, LA, and be like, yeah, I was just at Utah. It was fucking crazy. Like we were just kicking in, like, or we met some cool people.
Right.
Because like I go to LA and like Vegas all the time, and I meet cool ass people. But I live in Utah, so I don't ever have a chance to meet the cool ass people except for what we do here, right?
Yeah.
So this is giving us an out of being able to reach out to locals and people of Utah to be able to create that community.
Yes, sir.
I agree.
Yes, sir. Well, shoot, man. It's about that time. If you got anybody you want to shout out before we end here, bro, go ahead and do that now. Whole team. Whatever you want to do.
Shout out the team. Shout out Deja, John, Joey.
Tell him.
Eddie.
Tell him.
That's it. That's all. Only people I
Shout
got
out to
everyone. Shout out to everyone. Though.
Hell yeah.
Thank you
hell
guys
yeah.
for tuning in. Episode 51.
51.
God damn.
Damn.
Off the menu going crazy for
menu.
y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, bro.
Thank you
Shout
so
out to
much.
you,
Thank
Iggy,
you,
for that,
Bro,
for
thank
sure.
you so much.
Thank y'all for having me.
Peace out, y'all.
Sheesh.